In this video, I'm going to talk you through my faves and fails for the month of April. We've got beauty, we've got fashion, we've got books, TV and film. So sit down, grab yourself a drink and let's get started. I'm going to do it in the style of a get ready with me because quite a lot of my faves are makeup products. So let's pin back my hair and my fringe, which I'm still struggling with a bit, but I'm keeping going just because everybody says they think it suits me. So it's staying for now. So let us start with foundation. Oh, and just to let you know, I've got my skincare on. At the moment I'm testing sunscreen. So I'm actually wearing a Korean sunscreen today, which is one of about 7 that I'm testing. And that video will be coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I've got skincare. And before I launch into my foundation, I'm just going to pop on, I can't speak today. I'm just going to pop on some eye primer. And I just grabbed the first one that came to hand, which is this Nars. I have been finding lately, and I don't know why that is, that my eyelids are not quite as oily as they have been in the past. I was going to say hitherto. I don't know what's happened to my language today. Well, I suppose that's correct, isn't it? Yes, hitherto they have been quite oily, but of late they have calmed down, so that's good news. So we'll just pop that on because we are going to be applying eyeshadow, of which more later. There we go, so we'll let that settle and we'll crack on with the foundation. Now, those of you who watch my skin tint review, and I'll link that down below for you if you haven't seen that one, I ranked, I think it was 8 skin tints, or was it 7? Anyway, it was quite a lot. And the one that came out second is this Nudestix. Now, it's not technically a tint. I mean, is it a tint, isn't a tint? I don't know. It has the word tint in the title anyway. And it is the Nudestix Tinted Cover Foundation. So it says tinted. And there's something about this, I don't know quite what it is. Something to do with the applicator, or at least the tube that it comes in. It feels sort of sturdy. I like the design of it. Now, Nudestix is an incredibly expensive brand. I hadn't really appreciated that because I went into Selfridges the other day where I bought this tube, and I went in, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, to look at some other products of theirs. And actually I'm going to be talking about another product of theirs a bit later, but I went in to see what else they had, and honestly I was really surprised at how pricey everything was, and I didn't end up buying anything because I'm not that familiar with their products. I just didn't want to spend 20 quid on an eye pencil because I could get the Victoria Beckham for that, I think, or 25, something like that. So I wasn't really sure that I wanted to spend more money on it, but I absolutely love this tinted cover foundation, or whatever it's called. Obviously all the details of this product and all the others that I talk about will be in, why am I doing this? Will be in the description box below. But I have to say, it has a very slight smell. I was going to say pong to it. It's not particularly attractive or unattractive. It's just there, but it doesn't have any fragrance in it, which for me, those of you who know my channel will know, I'm allergic to fragrance. I get very bad seborrheic dermatitis from anything fragrance, so I can't put fragrance on my body for any length of time. It's fine with a hand wash or a body wash at a pinch, but it's no good on anything like a moisturizer, a foundation, or anything else. Anyway, I really like this because I think it gives a really natural finish. It's not too glowy. It covers well. It is buildable. I'm in the shade 3.5, and I think you'll agree this is a pretty good shade match for me. I mean, I think I'm quite lucky in that I don't struggle with shade matching. I think my skin is sort of neutral, leaning slightly olive. And most shades in the light medium range seem to suit me, but I wouldn't go too warm. That's where I draw the line. And you can see it's gone on very easily and quickly. It's settled in well. It gives a nice natural finish and it covers most blemishes. I mean, I do have a blemish here. It's covered it quite well, but it's still visible. So that means for me that it's nice and skin-like. It's not really covering these up, to be honest, but I'm not too worried about those really. Okay, so the next product is not a favourite, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, just because I haven't reviewed it yet, and I'm going to do a proper review of it soon, but I've literally only just got it. It's the RMS concealer, and I thought it'd be fun to try it. I think I've just tried it once or twice because I've been testing other things. I haven't had time to do this one, but it comes in a little pot, which I'm rather liking, and I thought we'd just give it a go while we're talking about our favourites. So I'm just going to get some on my fingers like this, and I'm just going to apply it like that. Just pat it there. Because RMS Beauty does seem to market itself particularly to older women, although Charlotte Holcroft really likes it, and she's about half my age. Well, maybe not half my age actually, but not far off. I'm 69, by the way, if you haven't watched my channel before. And she really likes it. But anyway, I've been meaning to try it for ages because the woman who founded it, Anne-Marie, I think her name is probably about my age, maybe even a bit older, I don't know. So I thought, well, let's give it a go. And given that it was in a pot, I thought that might be quite interesting to try. And I'm in the shade 345M. All the details will be down below for you, of course. So let's just see how that's looking. See, I think that's settled in really well. That's pretty quick, isn't it? Yeah, not bad, not bad. Okay, well, we are going to be testing that properly soon. So we'll move on swiftly to actually another product that isn't in my faves yet, but that's because I haven't quite got the hang of it. And I've had it for a while. It's the Givenchy Prisme Libre powder in 03, the rosy tone, which I have talked about before. I have kind of shown on my channel, but I haven't really reviewed it properly. And I haven't got on very well with it when using a velour puff. So I'm going to go back to my trusty old Real Techniques powder brush, or at least it isn't a powder brush, technically it's something else. But anyway, I did used to use this a lot before I discovered the velour puffs. So I'm going to be using that today, and I'm just going to pat that under here like that. See, I think that looks pretty good. Let me just zoom you in so you can see how that looks. I mean, I know we're not properly reviewing it today, but what do you think? Not bad, eh? Now let's move on to my second fave, and that's the Morphe 9-pan Vintage Rose palette. Oh my goodness me. I absolutely love this palette. I'm so glad I got it. It took me ages to get around to getting it for some reason. I don't know why. I think I was betwixt and between this one and a Huda Beauty palette, which is very similar but costs almost double the price. This is £14 or $14. And I'm going to swatch it for you because I don't think I did that last time I talked about it because it was just new to me. But let me swatch the shades for you. So I'm not the best swatcher in the world, and my arm always seems a bit crooked when I do it, but I'm going to try and talk you through the shades that we've got here, starting at the bottom here. So the darkest shade is Forget Me Not, then we've got Petal Play, Legend Has It, Perf in Pink, Retro Woe, Rose Bold, then That's Classic, Blossom and Flourish. Now, why do I love this palette so much? Well, I've been wearing it almost every day for the past 3 weeks, and when I wore it to work the other day, one of my much younger colleagues commented on how lovely my eyeshadow was and where had I got it from. So I thought, well, if that isn't an endorsement, I don't know what is. And I find that it's just such an easy eyeshadow to wear. So let me show you how I've been using it on the day-to-day. So I tend to go for a pinky shade on my lid, and then I use the dark colour as a kind of an eyeliner. So I think we'll go with this sort of dusky pink shade here. And I'm just going to apply that on the lid and maybe going up slightly into the crease. Actually, let me bring you closer. Got a great pigment. Easy to apply. Not really much fallout either. And then I'm going to use this thin brush here to pick up the darkest colour here, and then just use this as an eyeliner. Like that. It's funny, I can still feel a little bit of tightness where I had my eye operation a few months ago. Right, we'll just tidy that up with a cotton bud. Right, let's put some mascara on. I know I haven't done my brows yet, but I will. Now, this is another fave, this mascara, and I haven't actually talked about it before, because I was trialing it, I wanted to give it a few weeks really, or at least say 4 weeks, to see whether I liked it or not. And I must admit, when I first tried it, I thought, oh, I don't know, not sure I like this. But actually I've decided for a day-to-day mascara, it is really lovely. And it is the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash Mascara. Now, the reason I was a bit underwhelmed with this at the beginning is because I'm used to the Va Va Voom lashes of Lash Clash or Max Stack, or more recently the Fenty Beauty Hella Thick. And this is definitely not in those categories at all. What it is though is a fantastic lifting and separating mascara. So it enhances your lashes without giving you that really powerful black look. And I suppose, to be fair, it's called Kitten Lash, and that's what it is. It's not the sort of big, dramatic, almost falsy look. It's a much more feathered, probably day-to-day type mascara. And it comes in a nice tube. It's very attractive, as you would expect from Lisa. It's got the bendy brush. Well, not bendy, the curved brush, I would say, not bendy. And now my lashes are not looking their absolute best. They're not too bad at the moment, but they are due probably fairly soon for another lash lift. So let's apply it. So you can see after one coat, it's quite feathery and it's lifted them a little bit, but it's not exactly whatever that means. Right, let's do the other side. And then we'll come back and give it coat 2. So there we are with one coat. Let's go in for coat 2 now. So you can see it has blackened them, it has darkened them, and it's thickened them a little bit, but not super thick, which actually on for a day-to-day mascara is absolutely fine, I think. Right, let's do the other side. So what do you think? I am really enjoying wearing this mascara on the day-to-day. I wouldn't wear it to go out in the evening because I want more impact, but I think for a lovely daily mascara, it's delightful. However, of course, it's pricey. So you would have to be in the market for spending a few bob. I can't remember the exact price now, but it's in the 20s, I think. So for a day-to-day mascara, that is quite a lot. But if you want a luxury mascara that's going to make your lashes look good on a daily basis, and I think this is a real winner, and I am enjoying wearing it very, very much indeed. Now let's go from luxury to drugstore, and this Builder Brow by Maybelline I'm absolutely loving. Now I have to say it feels quite cheap, and it looks quite cheap. It doesn't feel very sturdy, but honestly it's so easy to use. Now I did review this in a drugstore makeup video recently, which I'll link down below for you, but what it's got is a little pen on one side, and on the other side, which I'll show you in a sec, it's got a brush with the gel in it, and it's just so quick and easy to apply. I absolutely love it. I also really love the fact that it's a pliable nib, but it's not too fine, and because I'm quite cack-handed, I don't really want the nib to be too fine. So I find this really easy to use because I can just draw on the hairs. I think because it's so liquidy, it's just soft and easy to use, and the colour comes out quickly, and it's not too pigmented, but it's pigmented enough. Can you see? Can you see the difference? And how quick that is, because I cannot draw or paint to save my life, and so I need something really easy that looks natural. And the good thing is, with the little gel brush on the other side, you can instantly diffuse the colour if you've gone a bit too heavy with it. You can see here I've gone a little bit too heavy, it looks a bit square. So if, I'll just put the top back on, you then unscrew this, which has got gel in this little bottle-y thing here, and the gel is straight onto the little mini brush, and then you just brush through like this. And see, I can diffuse that here to make it look more natural. I mean, that's amazing. That's so quick, isn't it? And I really think it's just a genius little idea to have the little brush with the little vial of gel here that just fits straight onto the brush like that. I think it's brilliant. I really do. And I've been using this every single day for the last 2 or 3 weeks. and I'm absolutely loving it, and it's incredibly affordable. Now let's move on to lips, and I was going to talk about the Lisa Eldridge pencil. I realised I talked about it last month, but I'm going to use it anyway because you can see, look how much I've used it already. I absolutely love it. I'm going to line my lips with it, and then we will talk about a new lip product. Right. Sometimes I think I'm going mad. I thought I'd done my cheeks already, but I haven't. But I'm going to do my lips because I've now done the pencil. And I'm going to be using another product by Nudestix. Now this I bought at the same time as I bought the foundation, and it's the Nudies Bloom All Over Dewy colour. In fact, it calls itself different things depending on what country you're in. But this is the one I got. Let me swatch it for you. And I chose the shade Bohemian Rose. Now I'd originally chosen this as a blush, and usually it's okay on the lips but not great, but this one I think is fantastic. So let me put it on my lips and my cheeks to show you. I mean, look at that colour, isn't it absolutely gorgeous? I mean, I hesitate to say it, but it's not that dissimilar to a BK Beauty lipstick. Now, let me put it on my cheeks as well, and I'm going to use a brush for that. Now, there is actually a brush on the other side of this thing, and actually, I'm such a dork. When I went into the shop, and when I went into Selfridges, I didn't see this bit, and I thought, okay, there's a brush here, and I thought, oh, well, maybe the colour comes through the brush. You know how some products used to be like that, or perhaps still are. But I just couldn't get it to work anyway. Eventually, I realised there was another end. I opened it. But I don't think I'd use this brush. It's very soft, but it's incredibly short-haired, so I don't think that would work very well. But anyway, it's there. I suppose it's good for travel. But anyway, let us now apply this. I mean, isn't that colour beautiful? And it goes so well with the Morphe palette colours, I think. I just think that is a fantastic product and great for travel and to pop in your handbag so you can touch up throughout the day. Okay, that's makeup done. Now let's talk briefly about skincare. Now look at this tub, which by the way weighs an absolute ton. This is by Augustinus Bardo, which you may have come across on YouTube, or you may even have bought a tub of this ridiculously expensive cream. This cream costs about £160. I mean, it is absolutely ludicrous, and I would never buy this for myself, but I just wanted to talk to you about it because I thought it was an interesting product to mention, because if you wanted to buy something incredibly luxurious for a loved one, and I think Mother's Day is coming up in the States now, this would be a really luxurious treat for them. Now, I've never owned anything by La Mer, and I've never fancied it myself, and normally really expensive products by, say, Chanel or Givenchy, and the brands that tend to do fragrance have fragrance in their products, so they're no good to me. But interestingly, this particular product doesn't have fragrance. Now this is a body cream, and as I say, it comes in this incredibly heavy jar. And it's in a jar, and we know that hygienically it isn't always a great idea to be dipping your finger in and then using the cream, but this is a body cream, and actually I'm only using it on my feet and my calves because that's where I tend to be driest on my body. My skin isn't very dry, my skin's actually normal. It can be a bit dry in the winter, but generally it's pretty normal. But this cream, I have to say, is really luxurious, and it makes my feet feel like velvet when I put it on. And I've looked at the ingredients, and yes, there are some really lovely ingredients in it, but I don't really know why the price is so high. But I don't think there's anything in the ingredients that justifies the price. But anyway, you can see it's very, very thick. Now, I have to tell you, I showed this to my sister-in-law a few weeks ago, and she said, oh, it's a bit like E45. And I know what she means, but actually there is a thickness to it that you don't get with E45. And I did check the ingredients to compare and contrast, and they are quite different. I think this has got shea butter in it, amongst other things. And like I say, all the details will be down below for you. But it absolutely does feel luxurious. And my Ameliorate, which I really like and do use as a body cream, or a body lotion. It just doesn't compare to this. There's something so velvety and soft about it. It just feels brilliant. But could I live without it? Absolutely. It was just gifted to me and I'm really enjoying using it. So I thought I'd share it with you just in case you wanted to splurge on something or you wanted to gift a loved one a really special and luxurious gift. Now, it's still feeling a little bit sticky on my hands. I don't usually use it on my hands. Like I say, it's usually on my feet. There's absolutely no fragrance at all, which, as I say, is very important to me. And of course, it looks beautiful as well. It looks very luxurious in my bathroom. So I am really enjoying using it, but honestly, I know that it's out of most people's budget and price range, and most people wouldn't be willing to spend 160 quid on a body cream that's only going to last you, well, maybe 3 or 4 months perhaps. But it is a treat of a product, and I just thought it was worth mentioning it here. Now let's move on to fashion. And the first item I want to talk about is this fantastic bra top by Uniqlo. Now, I've had a couple of bra tops from Uniqlo for a long time now, and they've got straps that are adjustable, but these are not adjustable and they're so comfortable, I cannot tell you. Now, I've got quite a big chest. I've got a narrow back, but my chest is double F. That's pretty big. And so I was a little bit worried that these bra tops might not support me. They might make my chest look a bit saggy, but honestly, they really don't. I'm wearing one today. I'm just going to pop up and show you. And they're so comfortable that I really don't feel like at the end of the day that I need to take it off, which is a really good sign, because usually at the end of the working day, I just want to take everything off, put my slobbing gear on, as I call it, and take my bra off. But actually with this, it doesn't feel restricting at all. It's got nice wide straps and it comes in various colours. I've got it in black and white. But it's a bit of a game changer, I would say, because it's more comfortable than the ones with the adjustable straps. Now, they do cropped versions as well, but that's not for me. I need something that covers my middle because I want to be warm there, especially at the moment while we're still in fairly cool weather. But they are great products and they're very reasonably priced. I think they're just under £15 or probably around $15 or $17 maybe. And I highly, highly recommend them for those of you who want to wear a bra but don't want to feel restricted in any way. And the next fashion item I want to talk about is this bag. Now, I mentioned this in my newsletter, and by the way, the link to subscribe to that is in the description box below. This little bag, it's not that little actually. I can just about get my laptop in, although it does peek out. But honestly, it just goes with everything. It's such a lovely summer bag. It has a really useful insert here, which you can tighten so that people can't put their hand in and try and get hold of what's in your bag. It's lovely and light, and the reason I chose it was because I was looking for a similar bag to a bag by Dragon Diffusion. I may have mentioned this before, and forgive me if I have. I think I've mentioned this in one of my fashion videos, but I wanted to mention it because I am using it every single day, and it's replaced my COS crossbody bag, and that's saying something because I lived in my COS crossbody bag. I wore it all the time, and in fact I've worn it so much I've kind of started to wear the leather out, but this has really replaced it and I'm really enjoying wearing it. And you can put it over your shoulder. It does fit under your arm like that, which is useful as well, but I often carry it in the crook of my arm like an old-fashioned handbag actually, which I really like doing, and it's just been great. I really love the brand as well. It's a new brand to me. It's called Scott Samuel. It's a female founded brand. I think she's a one-man band actually, because she responds to emails and questions and things by email. And I just really, really love this bag, and I think she's done amazingly well. It's about £85, which I think is a pretty good price. It feels pretty sturdy. It's a lovely colour. It also comes in black, and I really love it, and it's become my daily go-to bag. Now let's talk about Fave TV and a programme on ITVX that one of my lovely subscribers recommended to me. Now, it is an American series and I think it came out last year, so I'm not entirely sure what platform it's on in the States because we have different ones here. But anyway, it's for British viewers, it's on ITVX. It's called Love and Death and it stars Jesse Plemons, and he's the only recognisable name to me. I didn't know any of the others, although I had heard of Elizabeth Olsen, And I did recognise a woman who plays a friend of hers who had been in another TV series I mentioned in my last Faves and Fails, I think, which is called Unbelievable. Anyway, it's based on a true story, again, like Unbelievable actually, and oh my gosh, both me and my husband really enjoyed it. Now, it takes place in the late 70s, early 80s, and it's about a housewife who's bored and she's looking for some excitement in her life. And she belongs to a church, and they're quite a close-knit community. And it's set in Texas, I think. And it's not giving too much away to say that she's looking for excitement and finds it in Jessie Plemons. Now, you might think, Jessie Plemons, really? But honestly, I can kind of see what she means, because I had said, I think in a recent video, which is why my lovely subscriber recommended this TV series to me, that I thought he was rather good. And when I say good, I don't just mean a good actor, but there was something about him that I thought was quite attractive. I know, he's not exactly Brad Pitt, is he? But there's something a bit sort of, I don't know about him. Anyway, that's what the character in the TV series thinks. I'm not the only one. And actually, he's obviously put a lot of weight on for this series because he is really quite plump in it, and it makes his little eyes look even smaller. Anyway, the story unfolds, and I don't think it's giving too much away to say they form a relationship. And you know it's not going to end well, because right at the beginning there's a scene with the lead actress Elizabeth Olsen covered in blood. But it's how the story unfolds, and it's so well acted, it's so well done. I think it's 8 episodes, and we were absolutely gripped until the end. So I highly recommend it, particularly if you like Jessie Plemons. Now, to counter that, my husband and I went to see a film in the cinema last weekend, and it's called Civil War, and it stars Kirsten Dunst, who happens to be married to Jessie Plemons. Now, Kirsten Dunst is a really good actress, and she's very good in this film, but the film, I thought, and so did my husband think, it was rubbish. It was such a shame, actually, because I think it could have been good, because it's about war photographers and the risks they take to photograph war, which is very relevant, particularly at the moment, and could have been really well done. But honestly, it was a load of nonsense. It was written by Alex Garland, who'd written The Beach, I think, and possibly directed it as well. And he directed this, and it really was poor. It was about parts of America being pitted against other parts of America, and these war photographers photographing the war that was ensuing. But it really was completely unbelievable. And it began by these war photographers scooting off from New York to try and get to the president in Washington and interview him. And they end up taking this young girl along with them, which I'm sure would never happen in real life. It was just a nonsense, really. And you knew that that was going to cause them problems. And they meet different factions on the way. But honestly, it was just violence, it was noise, unpleasantness. And yes, I understand that it was trying to convey the difficulties that war photographers have when they have to take photographs of the most ghastly things. And I don't know how they do it. I think that side of it was portrayed well, but the rest of it, the story, was just rubbish. So I'm afraid I can't recommend that at all. Now let's go on to books, and I've got a couple of audiobooks to mention. The first one is by Joan Collins, and it's called Behind the Shoulder Pads. Now, I have read a few of Joan Collins's autobiographies, but not for a long, long time. And I got this on audiobook, and I really enjoyed it. Some of it's very funny. Some of it is actually read by her husband, Percy Gibson. And I quite enjoyed those parts as well, but most of it is her talking about her life from her childhood up until the present day. And as I say, there are some funny bits, there are some poignant bits about the relationship with her sister Jackie. And one of the most poignant parts was when she talked about her abortion. And she writes about that really well, really sensitively. It was when she was having a relationship with Warren Beatty, as she calls him. We've always called him Warren Beatty over here, but I think it is correctly pronounced Beatty. And she had a relationship with him, I think in her early mid-20s maybe, and they were both at the start of their careers really, and having some success. And they both decided together that she was going to have an abortion, but it was a very brave decision because back then it was illegal, and almost at the last minute she faltered, and isn't sure that she wants to go ahead with it, but does in fact go ahead with it. But it sounded like it was a horrendous experience for her, partly because it was an illegal abortion in those days. Abortion was not allowed. I don't know when it was allowed in the States, but in the UK, I think it was 1969. I think she touched on that subject very sensitively and very movingly, and I really like that about her because that's a side that you don't really get to see very much of. So I did really enjoy it. There were some funny stories. I think what really comes through is how she's managed to survive as a woman in that industry, who's now in her 90s, who started out in showbiz in the 50s and didn't really have much support from her family. So I think she's really done quite admirably in her career, and I think that is something to be celebrated, and it is a really fun listen. Now let's move on to fails, and I want to talk about another audiobook that I got to listen to when I was on holiday in the Caribbean. In fact, I started it just as we were leaving, and I thought it would keep me company on the plane, which it did in terms of it helped her to pass the time, but it was a really dull book, I'm afraid. Now it's called The Moonflower Murders by Anthony Horowitz, and it's a sequel to The Magpie Murders, which I did quite enjoy, but not as an audiobook, but as a TV series, and it starred Leslie Manville. And I did really enjoy that. And the premise of that is also similar to the premise in the sequel, in that the lead character, played by Leslie Manville in the TV series, is a book publisher and editor, and her client writes murder mysteries. And so you've got a book within a book, and you've got the same with the Moonflower Murders book within a book, although by that stage the author of the book within the book, if you're still following me, has died. He died in the original Magpie Murders. So with this one, you're following a similar pattern, and you have this book within a book, which as an audio book is really dull because you're getting the reading of the actual novel, The Moonflower Murders, but you're also getting a reading of the book within the book, which just seems interminable. And I really didn't enjoy that side of it because it just gets terribly complicated. What am I listening to now? Is this the old book? Is this the new book? Do I actually care? Because the idea is murders in the present day are being mirrored by the murders in the book within the book. That's really the premise of it. And then there's this sort of extra layer of, if you find out who killed whom in the book within the book, then you'll find out who killed whom in the present day. It's all very confusing. Anyway, I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was too long-winded. I thought it was cumbersome. I didn't actually care who'd done what to whom, and I think that's part of the problem for me, is whodunits. I've stopped finding them satisfying because it's so difficult to work out who will have done it, because the author wants to give you twists and turns and doesn't want you to guess. Maybe give you some clues, possibly, but will try to mislead you, so you're never going to guess who done it. It's just going to be too complicated, so I kind of lose interest, really. So I carried on just because I wanted to finish the thing, and it kept me company on the plane, but I can't say I recommend it. Now, going back to makeup, let me talk about a couple of fails. And the first one is the Huda Beauty Concealer. Now, I talked about this in my testing concealers video, which I'll link down below for you. And it didn't win in the battle of the concealers, it failed. But I thought I'd carry on using it. I wanted to get some use out of it, but I'm really not enjoying it, and I think I'm going to declutter it. It's called the Faux Filter Concealer. It's not cheap. And it looks like any other concealer. It has a decent doe foot applicator. It's nice and thick. That's what it looks like. But honestly, it really does not wear well. In fact, it doesn't even really apply well. So really disappointed with that, and I wouldn't recommend it at all. It just breaks up under my eyes. And the final fail for me is the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Flick eyeliner. Now, I don't know whether I had high hopes for this, to be honest, because I'm not really a liquid eyeliner kind of girl, but I thought I'd give it a go. Now, it's got a really thin brush, and I think that's part of the problem for me, because I don't tend to like to do a thin line. And I think what's also a problem is the brush is so soft that it's actually quite difficult. Okay, I know I've done it there, but it's actually quite difficult to get purchase on your lid when you're doing it, because it's so pliable. You can't get a decent line, particularly if you've got wrinkled eyelids. It's probably okay if you've got smooth eyelids, but if you've got wrinkled eyelids like mine, it really doesn't work. And actually my lovely friend Heba here on YouTube said exactly that, and I'll link her video down below for you where she reviews it, because she does a really good review. And she said exactly that it's just too soft a brush really. But it's nice and black. The only other thing I would say is the blackness on my lid reminded me a bit of kind of like that black paint, you know, that sort of glossy black paint, which I wasn't very keen on. In fact, it was almost like a sort of stick-on eyeliner, so no, it really didn't do it for me at all, unfortunately. So there you have it. Those are my faves and fails for the month of April. So let me know in the comments, have you tried any of the products? Have you listened to any of the audiobooks or read them? Have you watched the TV series or seen the film that I mentioned? I love hearing your comments, and as you heard in this video, I do take note of them and follow up on them as well. And if you've enjoyed this video, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up and hit the notification bell as well. I'd be really grateful. And as I mentioned earlier, I have a monthly newsletter if you'd like to hear more from me. And the link to subscribe is in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me. It really does. And I hope you're all doing really well. And I'll look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye.